What is today, February 11?
Yeah.
No,
12.
12.
No, it's 11.
No,
11.
yesterday was the
4,
11th.
you were right. So, what are we doing today?
Paul Bunyan and
Go ahead from there.
when Paul Bunyan was born, he was a big baby.
The cradle his parents had used for each of their other children was too small for Paul.
Fill the room with sound.
Paul had to build a really big cradle for Paul.
When Paul grew big enough to laugh and clap his hands, the vibration shook the house so hard that it broke all of its windows.
Paul replaced the windows several times, and finally he just decided to leave them open.
The breezes blew in and out as they passed.
Pleased. As they pleased.
When Paul got old enough to run around the neighborhood every time he sneezed or coughed, he blew the roofs clear off the neighbors' houses.
The neighbors started complaining.
But Paul grew into quite a handsome, likable,
And big lad.
There was no lake big enough for Paul to learn to swim.
So Paul went down to the sea and jumped in.
He made a splash so big
It caused a tidal wave that flooded the land for miles around.
Paul, if we don't do something, that boy's going to get into such big trouble that it'll be the end of us.
I know what he needs, Mom. Something to do.
I'll be sure to keep your papers down enough to see me.
I'll take him with me to the logging camp tomorrow. He could be a mighty fine logger. Oh yeah. So the next day, Paul took Paul into the forest where he logged with other men.
Paul and the other loggers taught Paul how to fell a tree,
How to sort them,
which logs were good for making houses,
which were good for making rail ties,
which were good for making furniture.
And which parts would make the best kindling wood?
Paul learned really fast.
and he worked really hard.
Paul swung his axe so hard and so fast that his axe got red hot.
Really
Red hot.
That winter, folks came from all around to watch the giant logger work.
And on really cold days, they gathered around Paul's red-hot axe to warm their hands.
Now lumberjacks really love their dogs.
Man's best friend.
But no scrawny dogs was good enough for Paul.
That first winter,
So the story goes,
the sky was blue, but it started snowing.
the blue of the sky stuck to the snow, and blue snow covered the ground.
As Paul walked by a blue snowdrift, he saw a baby ox calf. It was lost and half frozen.
Paul picked up the calf and carried it home.
The calf was blue.
No one knew if the calf was blue from the cold or if some blue of the snow had rubbed off of him.
But blue he was, and blue he remained for the rest of his life.
Paul called the calf ox Babe, and Babe became his pet.
Babe was just like his master.
He was big.
At first, he drank 18 pints of milk a day.
And soon he was drinking 18 gallons a day.
After a while, people stopped counting.
One afternoon, Paul Bunyan built a barn full for Babe, a big barn. A big barn.
The next morning, he looked out and saw Babe. He said to himself,
What a fine animal, that big. But what is that strange wooden saddle on his back?
He looked closer. It wasn't a saddle.
overnight, Babe had grown so big that he outgrew his barn.
The barn looked like a saddle.
Just like any good dog loves to be by its master, Babe was always at Paul's side.
Babe followed Paul to the logging camp.
And Babe worked hard just like Paul.
Babe dragged logs down to the river.
And he moved huts from one side of the mountain to the other.
That worked great while the men logged near the river. But as the camp moved up the mountain further from the river, it became more difficult for Paul and Babe to get the lumber around the curves of the road down to the river.
Babe, it's time to earn those sugar lumps I give you of a Saturday night.
Paul put his harness on Babe's shoulders, and he hitched one end of that twisting road to the other to it.
Pull, Babe.
Paul ordered.
Babe pulled. He heaved. He pawed the ground.
And he pulled that whole road straight.
Paul grinned.
That's my Babe.
Applause. Take a bow, please. Wonderful job.
Today's math topic was plane figures. The question was, what are plane figures? And they do not fly. Plane figures are connected lines on a plane or a figure on a flat surface formed by lines that are curved, straight, or both. Polygons are plane figures. Closed polygon is a closed figure made by 3 or more line segments. All lines touch, and there are no open sides. They are named by the number of sides or angles. Another name for angle is the vertex or the vertices. 3-sided figures are triangles. 4-sided figures are quadrilateral. 5-sided figures are pentagons. 6-sided figures are hexagons. 8-sided are octagons. On a polygon, the number of sides and the number of angles or vertices are equal. Thank you very much. That's what we did on 2/26/15. Oh, an important term, congruent. The word congruent means equal.